What is going on, Miami boys? Welcome to your late state of the league. This is the commish. Long day at work, but I've got two jobs, and my second job, even though I may get off late from the other job, is to provide a rundown for you guys. So last week I was tired, I got off late, but I'm not going to blame that on it this week. We are going to just go with the flow and let's go from there. Let's start off with the recap of last week. Starting with Thursday, you have the Ravens 27, Bucks 22. Ravens beat the Bucks. Bucks have lost 3 in a row. First time Tom Brady has lost 3 games in a row in 20 years. You will hear about the Bucks later in a category, but the Bucks need to get it together. Lamar played better this game, but they lost Rashad Bateman in this game. Ronnie Stanley, I don't know what's going on with him, but they did trade for Roquan Smith, so the defense did get better. But Lamar Jackson is no longer your front runner for MVP. The Bucks, they need to win. If they don't win with 5 losses, we'll talk about that in another category. But the Bucks are on the fence. Shut up. Next up, that was Thursday. Next up, we'll go through Sunday games. You know how we do. You've been here before. We will go over the Sunday games. Then we will talk about the next week. And then we will move on to the Dynasty League, as well as the categories that you've all grown to love. This made me happy. Dolphins 31, Titans. Lord have mercy. Excuse me. I'm kind of tired. That's not an excuse. Dolphins 31, Lions 27. Lions were kicking our butt, but thank God for Tyreek Hill, and thank God for Jalen Waddle, and thank God for Himothy. If you don't know what Himothy is, look it up on Urban Dictionary, but Himothy is Tua. Dolphins pull it out 31-27. Steelers 13, Eagles 35. Eagles move to 7-0. Steelers move to 2-6. It's over for the Steelers. That's why they started making trades today to get draft capital. They know they need to rebuild it. I don't expect much from them. Eagles 7-0. Who will be the first team? That's the question for the week. Who will be the first team to dethrone the Eagles? Eagles 35-13. Jalen Hurts 19 for 28, 285, 4 TDs. A.J. Brown 6 for 156 and 3 TDs. Beast, silverback, and he got a drug test after that performance. That's classic. That's Hall of Fame level. Broncos, let's ride. They beat the Jags. Well, the Jags beat themselves, but Broncos win 21-17 with 18 of 30, which is horrible, and 252 and 1 TD from Let's Ride. And Travis Etienne, 24 for 156. He tried to bring home the victory, but Trevor Lawrence, I don't know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence, but I'm starting to think different of him now. This game really, really upset me. You had the Panthers 34, the Falcons 37. I don't know if any of you saw this game, but this game was maddening. Shouts out to PJ Walker. I mean, played a hell of a game. Shouts out to Deontay Foreman. Played a hell of a game, and I'm not only saying that because you're on my dynasty team, but DJ Moore. They have a term, They have a term in saying act like you've been there before. My G, I think you've been in the league, 4 or 5 years? Like, you caught a 67-yard Hail Mary to win the game. You don't need to take off your helmet in Atlanta Stadium to just show the crowd that you're the man. Like, what would have said you were the man was if you don't take off your helmet, they kick the field goal, they kick the extra point, and then you go from there. I want Carolina's kicker, Cairo Santos, or whatever his name is, I want him arrested. He missed multiple field goals in this game that he shouldn't have missed, and he cost Carolina this game. The only good part about this game is that by Carolina losing this game, they get better draft position. Cowboys, game I didn't expect to go this high. Cowboys win over the Bears 49-29. Anthony Tony Pollard is taking full advantage of the games that he starts and the games that he plays. It's time. I never thought I'd say this because I'm a Zeke fan. It's time to give Anthony Pollard his flowers, and it's time to make him the starter over Zeke. And that will probably happen this offseason when they cut Zeke and Tony Pollard becomes a starter. Cowboys win 49-29 over the Bears. Vikings-Cardinals. This game was entertaining and went over the total like it was supposed to. Welcome back, DeAndre Hopkins, 12 for 159. Cardinals tried to fight back, but in the end, it was too much Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, and the Vikings win 34-26. And the Vikings today also traded for TJ Hawkinson. So let's see what happens from there. Saints, you heard it here first. Andy Dalton will be the starter for the rest of the year. Andy Dalton will be the starter for the rest of the year. Before I go on, shouts out to our sponsors, who we hope to be sponsors. First up, Geek Vape. Love their products. Geek Vape sponsor the video, sponsor the Miami Boys Dynasty. Bruno's Draft Kits, we're already on the page. Go ahead and sponsor the page. Keep Trade Cut. Keep Trade Cut is the Bible. And Keep Trade Cut, there's nobody else out here repping you guys for Dynasty except for us. We live by it. We trade by it. Everybody who wants Dynasty rankings. And we've also incorporated our league now into Keep Trade Cut. Keep Trade Cut, the Bible when it comes to trades. And knowing your player's value. All right, let's continue on. Saints 24, Raiders 0. I don't know what happened this game. I lost. To be honest with you guys, I lost all of my bets because of this game, because I had the Raiders beating them. That's how Vegas gets you. It was 1.5. You're like, oh, the Raiders 1.5. Oh, they got them. Blown out 24-0. Just thumbs down all the way around for the Raiders. Andrew Dalton had a great game. Alvin Kamara had a great game. Kudos to the Saints. You're keeping yourselves afloat until your help, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, until they come back. And your defense. Marshawn Lattimore. We'll see what happens. Patriots 22, Jets 17. Zach Wilson cost the Jets this game by throwing 3 INTs. Mac and cheese. Mac Jones was no better. This was a complete stinker, but the Patriots pull it out 22-17. Titans, Malik Willis, welcome to the NFL. They didn't ask you to do much, but give it to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, 32 carries, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry is who we thought he was, and get ready for that segment a little later. But he also is showing you that he is back from the foot injury. So kudos to Derrick Henry. The Texans did not make a trade. They didn't do anything. And I know why that is. Because at 1-5-1, you are looking to get the first or the second pick. But let's go ahead and continue. The Washington Commanders, they win 17-16 over the Colts. The Colts are 3-4-1. The Commanders are now 4-4. Taylor Heineke has brought this team back when it was left for dead by Carson Wentz, and he has made Terry McLaurin relevant again. So shouts out to the Commanders. I never thought I'd say that. 49ers Rams. The 49ers own the Rams. 49ers 31, Rams 14. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, who not only ran for a touchdown, received a touchdown, but he also threw a touchdown. And he is looking like he is in a better place because he is now on a team that's winning. So kudos to you CMC owners. 31-14. The 49ers have the Rams number. The Giants took their second loss of the season. I thought this would be a more exciting, high-scoring game, but it wasn't. But these Seahawks, let me say this right now. I owe the Seahawks an apology. I had them pegged as the worst team in the NFL along with the Bears, and I thought they'd have the first or second pick. But the Seahawks are quietly 5-3. They won the game 27-13, beat the Giants. Daniel Jones, no touchdowns thrown for the third week in a row, I think it is. Saquon Barkley, 20 for 53, 1 TD, not the exact stats that you want, but he is still showing that he's relevant. Kenneth Walker is showing why he is that guy and one of the top rookies. Kudos to the Seahawks. Give the Seahawks all the props, and it's like Tyler Lockett said, it's easy for you to have a good team when nobody wants the credit. I don't know if that was a shot at Broncos Let's Ride, but Tyler Lockett made that comparison. And lastly, you had the Sunday night game, which was the Bills winning over the Packers 27-17. I thought it would be more than that. Aaron Jones tried to keep Green Bay alive, but Josh Allen was able to pull it out, and they win 27-17 over Green Bay. And we all watched this Monday. Well, I know I did because I have Nick Chubb in another league. But I watched the Browns decimate the Bengals 32-13. Joe Burrow, what the hell is going on? Jamar Chase is gone for at least 3 weeks because you didn't put him on IR. So you're saying that he's coming back after 3 weeks by not putting him on IR. Nicholas Chubb, 101 yards, 2 TDs. Amari Cooper doing Amari Cooper things with 131, and 1 TD. Kudos to the Browns. Maybe I should have started Jacoby Brissett. Anyway, that is your look back at Week 8. Let's go into Week 9 preview. Starting Thursday, Eagles-Texans. Eagles 8-0. No more need to be said over the Texans. Dolphins-Bears. Thank God the Bears traded Roquan Smith. Easier game for the Dolphins. I expect the Dolphins to win this one. Chargers-Falcons. Chargers coming off a bye. If you don't beat the Falcons, something is wrong. Then you might need to go back and revisit things. Panthers-Bengals. Bengals are at an all-time low right now. I would take Carolina in this game, and hopefully DJ Moore doesn't take off his helmet. PJ Walker, I trust him, and he's the starter going forward. Packers-Lions. Uncontrollable stinker, but I am going to take the Lions to bounce back in this game over the Packers. I hate to say it. Colts-Patriots. I take the Pats in this game. The Colts don't know what they're going to do, and Jonathan Taylor is injured again. Bills versus Jets. I expect the Bills to shellac. Shellac means blowout the Jets, and we'll leave it at that. Vikings-Commanders. Check my last comment. I expect the Vikings to shellac the Commanders. Raiders-Jaguars. This might be my stinker of the week. I don't know if this one is going to get over like 28, 30-something points. It is my stinker of the week. I don't know what's going to go on with here. I can't pick a winner. Both teams are really, really bad right now. Seahawks-Cardinals, shootout of the week. You heard it here first. I picked the Cardinals to bounce back in this one because the Seattle rookie corners have not seen D-Hop yet. Rams-Buccaneers. This is my stinker for the week. Both teams are absolutely horrible. I don't know what's going to go up in this one. I'm not picking a winner. I'm staying away. Titans-Chiefs. I don't know if Ryan Tannehill is going to be out this game, but I expect the Chiefs to blow out no, not blowout, but win over the Titans. Let's not even go there. Let's not act like they have Tyreek Hill anymore. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And Monday night, you have the Ravens versus the Saints. Ravens, no Mark Ingram. The Ravens have been playing, but they did get better on defense, so I'll take the Ravens in this game. That takes care of your Week 9 preview. Now we will go over to the award-winning categories before we go over to Sleeper. And we're going to do a little different here. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Almost dropped that. All right, we got to get right for this one. Shout outs to those Dolphins that won Sunday. So here we go. I know that we have the 5 rising stars, but I could not. It was just a hell of a Sunday, and I could not pick 5. So I gave you a baker's dozen. I am giving you a baker's dozen. For those of you that don't know what a baker's dozen is, that's 13. Here are the 5 rising stars going up. Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That's all one. I'm grouping that into one. Why? Because I make the videos, I can do that. They played great on Sunday. Hopefully they can keep it going. They already played the tough part of their schedule. Tua was out for a couple games where they had a rough stretch, but now Tua is back going into the easy part of their schedule. Shouts out to Tyreek Hill, who looks like he might be going over 2,000 yards. Jalen Waddle is a stud, and Tua is Himothy. DJ Moore and Deontay Foreman. DJ Moore, I group you guys into one because you guys should have had the win, but you guys played your asses off. That's why you're on this list, but you got the loss. Never thought he'd make the list, but Kyle Pitts. You got thrown to 5 times. I think that was the most all year. You had 80-something yards and a touchdown. Shout-outs to Kyle Pitts. If your coach starts learning how to use you, you might be fantasy relevant. All right. Justin Fields. Even though they lost to the Cowboys because of their defense, Justin Fields is starting to put up numbers. And he's also running the ball, which makes him a dual threat. So I thought I'd put him on this list. Anthony Tony Pollard, got his first start, took the ball, ran with it, had an amazing game. He should be the starter going forward. You shouldn't play Zeke anymore. And that's just my opinion. Alvin Kamara, 3 TDs, looking like the old Alvin Kamara. And now it can continue on, which is why you made this list. It can continue on to next week because there's no more Mark Ingram. He's out for the foreseeable future. Derrick Henry, I threw him on this list, giving you the baker's dozen because he went over 200 yards. But that just wants to show you that the foot is okay and Malik Willis, they didn't trust him to throw. D-Hop, welcome back. 12 catches. You had a hell of a game. You are who we thought you were. Amari Cooper, 5 for 131. Had your best game as a Brown, which is why you made this list. Scary Terry. Scary Terry has a relationship with Taylor Heineke, where he wasn't relevant, but now he is relevant. Thank God for you Scary Terry owners who have Taylor Heineke right now until Carson Wentz comes back in like 2 weeks. Oh, excuse me. Next up in our Baker's Dozen, CMC. CMC had a touchdown rushing, he had a touchdown receiving, he had a touchdown passing. Whoa, what can you do when you're in a better situation? That CMC just showed you on Sunday. When I'm happy and I'm in a better situation, look what I can do. And Aaron Jones, 20 carries for 151 on a horrible team. Your team did you a disservice by not trading for a wide receiver today. So it looks like it might be you going forward, Aaron Jones. So there's your, I couldn't give it to 5. So there's your Baker's Dozen 13 for the Rising Stars of the Week. All right, here's your 5 stars, fading, falling fast. There was no 13 for this, but I did add in one more to make it 6. So let's go through it right now. Joe Burrow, horrible. Fumble. How many sacks? I think 4 or 5. And you got blown out by the Browns. I know you missed Jamar Chase, but come on, man. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I think, has given up on the season. Aaron Jones has not. But although it was rumored that they would trade for a wide receiver, the Packers did not trade for a wide receiver, which I would have bet on that because I know they weren't going to trade for a wide receiver. So what you see is what you get with Aaron Rodgers right now, and it's not good, which is why he's on this list. Trevor Lawrence. I thought in the first half that you guys were going to win this game. You are somebody needs to talk to Trevor Lawrence. Somebody needs to advise Trevor Lawrence that he is a quote-unquote generational player, and you got to play better than that. Travis Etienne played his ass off. There's no reason why the Jags should have lost that game. Najee Harris, 8 carries for 32 yards. From where you were drafted, not only in multiple leagues, but in the regular NFL draft, 8 for 32 just doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. And I don't know if it's a product of the offense. I don't know if it's the new quarterback, but Najee Harris needs to fix it. Zach Wilson, 3 INTs. Brutal for your team. And the Patriots beat you. You haven't beaten the Patriots in a while. And the 6th guy I added on here, Lenny Fournette. Uncle Lenny. 9 for 24. Ugh, brutal. Got to do better than that, especially you guys are on the brink of not making the playoffs. Next up, the Rooks That Cook. 5 Rooks That Cook. Garrett Wilson, welcome back to the land of the living. Over 100 yards receiving. Welcome back. Elijah Moore is mad at that, but it is what it is. Again, Travis Etienne did not play in his rookie year, so this year he's considered a rookie. 131 yards and a touchdown. Good for you. Tyler Algiers, even though he doesn't start, he makes positive production in yardage, and he gave you another touchdown. I miss you, Tyler Algiers, but you weren't part of the plan. Greg Dulcich, if most of you don't know, that's the tight end for Denver. He single-handedly brought them back and allowed them to win that game over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he does make the list. Chris Olave made enough catches to get Alvin Kamara in position for the Saints to win that game, they should have been blown out by the Raiders. So those are your 5 rooks that are cooking right now, 5 rooks that are shook. Kenny Pickett. Kenny's getting killed by the offensive line. He's getting sacked. He's throwing interceptions. It's not going to change for the foreseeable future. But Pittsburgh knows that. That's why they traded players for draft picks. They know they need to rebuild it through the draft. Drake London, 3 catches for 23 or 29 yards. It was Kyle Pitts' turn this week. I don't know what's going on, but the few times that they do throw now, hopefully they'll throw it to you. I don't know. George Pickens. Now you are the man. They traded Claypool away, but Sunday you were targeted 3 times. 0 catches, 0 yards. That's why you made the list. Got to do better than that. Malik Willis, you made the list because you were 6 for 10 for 55 yards. But I don't blame you. I had to put somebody on the list. But I know that your coaches were like, just give it to Derrick Henry. I know that. Dameon Pierce, 20-something yards rushing. That's not what I or Kane's gang expect. Got to do better. Do better. Brian Robinson had a lot of promise, but you've been mediocre these last couple of weeks. You haven't had to be a workhorse because they've been throwing the ball a lot more, but 8 rushes for 20 yards. Yeah, Not good. So that is your 5 rooks that are shook. Here we go with the teams that pissed off the fantasy gods. You have and these are teams that are losing and they've lost multiple weeks and they're not getting any better. For you first timers here, that is the teams that pissed off the fantasy gods: the Bucks, the Lions, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Jags, the Raiders, the Rams, and the Packers. Next up, we go to the teams that need a win or a turnaround to save their season. Rams are on the brink of not making the playoffs. They still have that Super Bowl hangover. The Colts went to a rookie, so it's probably the end for them. Let's see what they draft next year, but you can't keep getting these recycled quarterbacks. The Commanders, although they won, they're right there on the cusp. If they lose any more, they're going to be talking about draft status. The Bengals, no Jamar Chase. The revamped offensive line isn't working. What are you doing? What are you doing, step bro? You know, like, it is what it is with that. The Raiders. To get shut out by a Saints team that's missing a lot of players, you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself. The Cards, you're playing hard, but you're losing games. Hopefully you can turn it around. Let's see what happens. The Bears, I added you to this list, but I know that the season is over, and it's all about draft position for you guys now. Broncos, let's ride. That was a fluke win against Jacksonville. I want to see you do it 2 weeks in a row. So until then, you're going to remain on this list. And lastly, of course, you know who it is, the Bucks. Tom Brady's divorce is final, so I expect them to play a little differently, hopefully. If they don't, they'll continue to remain on this list. Now we're moving on to Time to Panic and Make a Trade. The award-winning Time to Panic and Make a Trade. Brought to you by Geek Vape. And as we start off, Time to Panic and Make a Trade, I put myself first on the list. I am at 0-8. I am starting to panic because if you guys, I'm not going to say should you guys have known because most of you don't read the rules, but if I go 0-16, I get kicked out the league. I am looking for that first win, so I am panicking, so I am starting to make trades, not only to save my season, but for draft capital for that world-famous draft in 2023. Next up, Poppy Henny. 1-7. The trade didn't help. You, sir, are doormat of the week. Please send me $25. Mikey Xbox. Up, down, up, down. At least you've got a couple of wins, but you lost a close one this week. But you know it is what it is. Hopefully you can build it back through the draft. Canes gang. I don't know what you need to do to make a trade, sir, but 4 losses in a row, it ain't that sweet. You might need to, how they say, like, hold on, let me help you. You see that swallow? You might need to swallow your pride a little bit and maybe make a trade because it's either save your season now or you might be headed to the bottom with us, man. I don't know. 4 losses in a row. All right. Next up, Teddy. Teddy, I know you work at night, but you've taken 2 losses in a row now. You've always been a contender. I know you took a loss this week because Patty Mahomes was on a bye, but you made the list, but I probably know that you'll get off the list. Next up, Cheesehead. Cheesehead, you won your week, but I add you to this list for Time to Panic because I'm going to tell you why. That way you don't get mad at me and you think I'm being biased. You lost Cooper Kupp this Sunday. No Cooper Kupp for the foreseeable future. Derrick Henry had over 200 yards, which got you the win, but he's not going to have 200 yards next week. And lastly, you have Broncos Country, Let's Ride, that did enough for you to win. And you have Matty Stafford, who did whatever to help your point total. Those four things combined, you could be with Kane's gang on the loss tip real quick. So I don't know if Cheesehead will make a trade. I don't know if Kane's gang will make a trade. But I am just suggesting you make a trade to save your season. Let's move on to the award-winning last two segments. The first one being You Are Who We Thought You Were. First on the list of You Are Who We Thought You Were, and again, once I get this together and know how to edit or get somebody to edit, this will be Denny Green before we get into this segment. You are who we thought you were, the commish. You've run your third in a row and you took back the stud of the week. Kudos to you. Even though there are multiple players on your team that gave you bad games, other people stepped up for you. Welcome back to your winning ways. Kane's gang. Although you scored, you were borderline not to be on this list, but although you scored 321.24 and you would have beaten anyone, you're on this list because you got 4 losses in a row. And that's not good for you, for a person who made it to the finals last year and who we all thought had playoff aspirations this year. Might need to make a trade and save your season. And stop voting no. The fantasy gods don't like that. Every time you voted no, you've took a loss. All right, and lastly, my favorite part of You Are Who We Thought You Were. Raphael Disla, a.k.a. Doormat Disla, a.k.a. Pap One Henny, or a.k.a. The Henny Has Run Out, Go Get Me the Douce. Poppy Henny, you are Doormat of the Week. You are 1-7. The trade for JJ for the other JJ has not panned out for you. And I don't know if there's any more trades that you can make to save your season. But you are the Doormat of the Week, sir. And lastly, before we head into the Miami Boys Dynasty, Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen. The award-winning segment, Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen. And in this category, the winner for this week of Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen is Kane's gang. Kane's gang is in this one because he refuses to analyze a trade and vote yes based on the value. He just votes no on everything. So what the fantasy gods have done is they've punished him by giving him 4 consecutive losses when this gentleman made it to the finals last year. Kane's gang, stop voting no on people's trades and make a trade and save your season. You've lost 4 in a row. You're not that far from being, you're at the mid. You're a mid right now, but you're not that far from being at the bottom with us. You don't want to be at the bottom with us. So, Kane's gang, you are who we thought you were, but you are how the mighty have fallen. All right, moving on to Miami Boys Dynasty. Week 8. Me, where's Truck 115, 244 to 37. I lose to Chino, but I did score, just to point that out real quick, I did score over 200. All my scores have been in the ones. I lost to Chino 268.37 to 244.37. So it's that close, Chino. That close. Kudos to Chino. He moves to 6-2. I moved to 0-8. Money Mikey Xbox moves to 3-5 after taking a loss to Hendricks. 274.47 to 189.62. And let me speak on this. let me speak on this, okay? Just to give you all a heads up. Future, aka sorry, Future, I'm just busting your butt. Future wasn't into fantasy football a couple years ago. You saw that Teddy was getting into it. He came to some of the, not this league, but another league, came to the drafts and everything like that. But now Future is 7-1. So as I sat here and I thought about it, you're trying to tell me a guy who doesn't know that much about fantasy football is 7-1? No, Future. You're not fooling anybody. You went to see the lady, and you know what I'm talking about. You went to see the lady, and you went and dipped yourself in the ocean like 3 times or something or whatever. But whatever you did, it's working. You're 7-1, and you're a top. You're a top contender here. Cheesehead. Cheesehead. He won 288 over Teddy, 283.49. If Teddy would have had Patrick Mahomes, he probably would have won this week. Cheesehead, see my last segment on what I feel like you should do. The commish. The commish is the stud of the week. He wins 344.64 over Kane's Gang. Kane's Gang would have beat anybody else, but since he continues to vote no, he loses 321.24 to the commish. And lastly, Goggles, the champ, wins again, 223.24 over new team, who it is, Poppy Henny, aka Doormat Disla, 171.72. And there are your week 8 matchups. Let's go to the week 9 preview before we go into anything else. You have myself versus Money Mike in the Doormat Bowl. But no, not really, because Mikey has 3 wins. That the Doormat Bowl is gonna be when I play Disla. All right, me versus Mikey. You have Kane's Gang versus Sean. Kane's Gang versus Sean in the new job. Who this? Bowl. Next up, Cheesehead Poppy Henny. Cheesehead Poppy Henny. After that, you have Teddy versus George in the PS5 Bowl. Teddy versus George in the PS5 Bowl. And the game of the week, you have Goggles versus Future. Goggles versus Future. And this one will dictate basically let me bag back. Hold on. Do we have any theme music for bag back? You a clock that was ticking in my home. Change my state of mind. Ladies and gentlemen, love so hard to find. We got it. So anyway, the game of the week, you have Future versus Goggles. This might be, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a championship preview. So let's take special interest in this game and let's analyze it pretty well. All right, let's go over the standings and let's go over the points for. In the SmackDown division, Goggles is 6-2. Sean is 6-2. The commish is 5-3. You have Mikey Xbox. You have Cheesehead at 4-4, and you have Mikey Xbox at 3-5. In the Raw division, you have Future at 7-1. Kane's Gang at 4-4. You have Teddy at 4-4. You have Disla at 1-7, and you have me at 0-8. Excuse me. The leader in points right now. Let's go over the leader in points, and then we'll get the best record. The leader in points right now is Kane's Gang. Kane's Gang is number 1 with 2227.06. Next up in the points lead is I'm sorry. Hold on. I was looking at it wrong. Sorry about that. All right, Kane's Gang with 2,200.61. Next up after that, is George at number 2 with 2195.79. After that is the Champ. The Champ has 2149.31. Let me see. Next up after him in third place is Teddy with 2120.16. In fourth place is Future with 2036.68. And in fifth place is Sean with 2018.14. So there you have it. So those are your top 5 in points. And of course, if it were to come down today, best record would go to Future because he is the only one at 7-1. You have Goggles and Sean at 6-2. Future will win best record. All right, there you have it. Let's go into where is the weekly report. Because I missed it last week. You know what? Let me. It's easier to read from the phone. All right, let me go into the weekly report, gentlemen, and then I will end the video. Excuse me. All right, we're going to get into the weekly report. Of course, we know the stud of the week is George the Commish at 344.64. Doormat of the week is Poppy Henny, 171.72. Players of the week, pat myself on the back. Quarterback of the week is Tua Tagovailoa with 60.37. Derrick Henry is running back of the week for Cheesehead with 84.50. See what I said about running back scoring 200. DJ Moore for Teddy with 57. Kyle Pitts. Let's just, you know what? Where is that? We got to give her a round of applause to Kyle Pitts. Where is it? Where is it?
Victory screech!
Kyle Pitts was tight end of the week with 25.50. Bench warmers of the week. These are guys that should have started but did not start. Zach Wilson with 34.55 for the Commish. Williams for Detroit for Teddy with 32.30. Garrett Wilson for Teddy with 33. Oh, that's two players, Teddy. And Tyler Conklin with 33.40. League awards for the week. Most efficient manager was Kang's Gang with 321.24 out of a possible 329.84. You set the perfect lineup, you just lost. Least efficient manager, Rafael Disla. Why is that not a surprise? 171.72 with max points of being 225.22 if you would have set the proper lineup. Most points in a loss, Kane's Gang with 321.24. Lost to All Day Cuz, 344.64. Lowest points in a win, Goggles, 223.24. He lost to Poppy Henny, 171.72. Oh, champ. Gotta fix that. Biggest blowout, Hendricks over Money Mike. Narrowest victory, Cheesehead over Teddy. Overachiever, of course, the commish. Underachiever, of course, Poppy Henny. Here are the standings going down of the places for playoff position. George is back as the top performer in number 1. Kane's Gang is number 2. Cheesehead is number 3. Teddy is number 4. Future's number 5 in points. Chino's number 6. I was number 7. Goggles was number 8. Mikey was number 9. And Dissa was number 10. That was just the roundabout for points scored. The top 10 in points scored that week. All right. So there you have it. As we move into week 9, there you go. Any questions, comments, concerns? Let me know, but there you have it. Not too many, like I said, guys, I'm tired. Not too many sound effects this week. I'm about to go to bed. I can't believe it's almost 11. But there you have it. And I'm taking that to bed. Commish out. See you next week.